Welcome to the Wisconsin Office of Outdoor Recreation mini webinar series, Building Healthy, Resilient Communities Through Outdoor Recreation. Today's guests are from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, the Office of Rural Prosperity, and the American Birkebeiner Ski Foundation. Outdoor recreation is a top reason for visiting Wisconsin. Nearly half of Wisconsin is covered by forests, 43,000 miles of river shoreline, and 6 million acres of public land, including 49 state parks. Outdoor recreation contributes $7.8 billion to Wisconsin's gross domestic product. It's a real economic driver that supports 93,000 jobs, $3.9 billion in worker compensation, and is home to world-class brands. The Office of Outdoor Recreation was established in 2019 with bipartisan support. The vision is that Wisconsin is recognized as a top outdoor recreation state for visitors, residents, and businesses, and the mission is to support and uplift the outdoor recreation industry and its partners for the economic health and overall well-being of the state and its residents. We do that by aligning our partners around the four tenets: to invite residents, visitors, businesses, and workforce talent to play, work, and live in Wisconsin, to experience the state's natural places and vast outdoor recreation offerings, to connect people to Wisconsin's natural places and outdoor recreation opportunities through access and education with a focus on inclusion. We believe people thrive when active lifestyles and outdoor recreation are promoted as ways to create healthy individuals and communities, and to sustain Wisconsin's invaluable natural assets by encouraging outdoor recreation, the connection to place, and the preservation of healthy lands and waters. It's my honor to introduce to you today's presenters. Missy Hughes, Secretary and CEO of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. Kellyanne Blazek, Director of the Office of Rural Prosperity, and Ben Pop, the Executive Director of the American Birkebeiner Ski Foundation. Missy?
Hi, everybody. As Mary said, I am Secretary and CEO of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, WEDC, is the state's lead economic development organization. And as such, we set the strategy for the state when it comes to how do we make sure we have an economy that's working for everybody. We really focus on the economic well-being of our citizens. And when we talk about economic well-being, we mean things like financial stability, the ability to have a life and family sustaining job, to work towards your goals of wealth. We also focus on community infrastructure, whether it is helping to build a library or a senior home. We have programming around that. But when it comes to economic well-being, we also think about things like healthcare and access to affordable and quality healthcare for everybody in Wisconsin. We think about education. We have an amazing education system in Wisconsin. Our K through 12 is excellent. Then we have the UW system and our tech colleges. So economic education really lends itself to making sure that folks have the skills to be able to live their dreams. And then finally, to round out this concept of economic well-being, we talk about the environment. And access to outdoor recreation is critical to making sure we have a quality of life that all of our Wisconsinites can enjoy. And we want to make sure that that environment is clean, that we don't have pollutants and things like that in it. So all of that contributes to economic well-being. We're able to do this through the WEDC because we're this thing that's called a public-private entity. So while we get our funding from the state, we're able to be really flexible and to use our programming to help everywhere around the state where it's needed. So we have programs that help with attraction and expansion, so attracting businesses to Wisconsin, but also for those businesses that are already here, helping them to expand. If they have a project in mind, they want to add jobs, we're here to help make those dreams come true. We also help with businesses that want to expand their marketplace internationally. We have missions all around the globe that help businesses understand, how do I break into that market? How do I develop distribution networks in that market? So that's a really critical part of what we do. And then finally, we help communities and main streets all around the state. We help communities, as I said, with development projects, with looking at a site that's been idle for a number of years or that needs some help because it's got pollutants in it. We've got programs to help with that. But we also help with our Main Street communities, those small businesses that exist and really make the quality of life in our towns all around the state critically vibrant and ready to receive tourists and folks that are coming, for Wisconsin's amazing outdoor recreation. During the pandemic, we've been focused on programs that really assist those small businesses and been thinking about our rural communities. I live in Southwest Wisconsin and have been able to really bring the voice of rural Wisconsin to the administration. And we've developed businesses that are programs not only that have granted money to businesses, but we've also developed programs that provide guidance during this really difficult time to understand, how do I stay open? What are different ideas for how I can meet my customers where they are? And finally, we've developed a campaign called the We're All In campaign that talks about the safety measures that we all need to be taking in order to keep our economy vibrant and alive. But we are also focusing on buying local and making sure that during a time when it feels like everybody is ordering online and staying home, to remember that we've got these businesses that we need to support, whether it's through takeout or online ordering or curbside pickup. We've really been leaning in the last few months to make sure that we're helping these small businesses all around the state that are critical to our small communities. This is new work for WEDC. We often are working with our big businesses, some of those that Mary named earlier. So one of the things that we've done in the past few months under the governor's direction is to create the Office of Rural Prosperity. And we've worked with a Blue Ribbon Commission on Rural Prosperity, and Kellyanne Blasek is going to describe more of that coming up. But I just want you to know that WEDC is here to make sure that we're supporting all of Wisconsin and all of Wisconsin's businesses. So if there's anything that you need, you should absolutely reach out to us and we can help make things happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Missy. I'd like to introduce to you Kellyanne Blasek, Director of the Office of Rural Prosperity. Kellyanne?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kellyanne Blasek, and I'm the Director of the Office of Rural Prosperity at the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. And I'm really excited to talk to you all about the efforts to advance rural prosperity across our state. First slide, please. First, I'll give you some background on the Office of Rural Prosperity. Next, I'm going to talk about the Governor's Blue Ribbon Commission on Rural Prosperity. And last, I'll provide my reflections on what we've heard so far from Wisconsinites about outdoor recreation during the Commission's listening sessions. Next slide, please. So the Office of Rural Prosperity was announced by Governor Evers in his 2020 State of the State address. So I work internally at WEDC, but also across state government to help advance the mission of the office, which is to foster vibrant, prosperous, and resilient rural communities across Wisconsin. The office is really a one-stop shop for assistance for rural stakeholders. So if you have a potential project or an idea, or you're not sure who you should talk to at the state level, you can start with us and we'll help you brainstorm and connect you to the right folks. Next slide, please. So in short, we're here to help connect, coordinate, and build capacity. Our website is wdc.org/rural-prosperity. So please feel free to reach out anytime and we can help connect you to resources. Next slide, please. So when the governor announced the creation of the office, he also announced the Blue Ribbon Commission on Rural Prosperity, which Missy mentioned, and that was formalized in Executive Order number 65. So the commission is tasked with gathering input from the public on current and future challenges faced by rural communities, and then coming up with a plan and sending a report with recommendations to the governor. And we brought on the Aspen Institute's Community Strategies Group to help us to support the commission as a consultant and have really benefited from their national expertise on community rural development. Next slide, please. The governor appointed 12 members to the commission that are listed here. They represent different communities, different sectors, different backgrounds. We have folks from agriculture, a paper mill, a bank, a hospital. And the goal was really to make it feel like you're sitting down around a kitchen table with rural community members. So we've really benefited from having all their expertise on this initiative. Next slide, please. Over the last few months, the Commission has been actively engaging with the public through three primary ways. First, the Commission has held 3 virtual listening sessions, which we called Conversations with the Commissioners. Second, the Commission accepted written public comments online. And then third, the Commission participated in meetings with various rural stakeholder groups. Next slide, please. There were 5 key questions that the commissioners were asking the public, which are listed here. So right now in our process, we're analyzing and organizing all of the incredible amount of information we've received from the public during the commission's work in the last few months. So today I'm going to provide my own reflections on some of the comments and themes that we heard related to outdoor recreation from public participants during the listening sessions. Next slide, please. So the first question was really, give us some examples of rural prosperity, and outdoor recreation came up quite a few times. Folks talked about outdoor recreation as being a bright spot in the rural economy. Even before the pandemic, stakeholders were optimistic that outdoor recreation could help to revitalize rural communities. And bike trails across the state were mentioned as projects that really brought communities together, both literally and in the spirit of collaboration. So Jefferson County and Boulder Junction were 2 communities who were specifically mentioned as success stories. And then American Birkebiner's Telemark Lodge project was mentioned as a success story as well, and we're going to hear more about that from Ben later in this webinar. Next slide, please. So the next question was about what were folks' priorities pre-pandemic? Like think back to before January and what was top of mind for folks. And many people brought up housing for seasonal workers as a challenge that we need to tackle both for outdoor recreation, but also for other sectors to thrive. Some participants brought up resiliency planning for natural disasters because of communities that have been impacted by flooding and the implications for outdoor recreation activities. And then a lot of participants said land and water protections are absolutely critical to the future of the outdoor recreation economy. Next slide, please. So the next question was really, what are your priorities now during the pandemic? And in every listening session, we started out with a state leader speaker and 3 rural voices from across the state that told a story about what they're seeing in their communities right now. And we were really lucky to have John Jarish from Door County Visitors Bureau join us as one of those rural voices. John talked about how the pandemic has taken a big toll on the tourism industry, but outdoor recreation activities have been the safe choice for many families. Door County has attracted a record number of visitors to its state parks and beaches, and John really encouraged folks to support public-private partnerships that pair local dollars with state funding. And a lot of participants echoed some of John's comments and said that there needs to be recognition that outdoor recreation is integral to Wisconsin's economic recovery as we come out of the pandemic. Next slide, please. The next question was asking folks, how is the state being a good partner right now? And multiple participants mentioned the Office of Outdoor Recreation as a key resource that should be supported in the future. Some participants noted that the Department of Transportation's investments in roads and bridges are critical for folks to access outdoor recreation in rural communities, and those programs should be supported in the future as well. And then multiple participants said that the DNR's Knowles Nelson stewardship grants are really important and should be supported. And then the last question we asked was, how could the state be a better partner? There were quite a few comments about outdoor recreation being key to economic recovery in rural areas, and folks encouraged the state to continue investing in this sector. Some participants said the state is really helpful when it comes to planning, but they'd like to see more support and programming for implementation. And then folks thought it was important for the state to help protect natural resources so that those resources aren't jeopardized in the future. In terms of next steps, the Commission is working on analyzing all of the information we've gathered and translating that into a report that they will send the governor in November. The report will include recommendations and more information about the range of topics that were brought up during the listening sessions. So please keep an eye out for the report, and we look forward to finding opportunities to work together to advance the recommendations. Next slide, please. So thank you again, and I'll turn it back to Mary.
Thank you so much, Kellyanne. We appreciate your participation and all the work you're doing around the Governor's Blue Ribbon Task Force. I'd like now to introduce to you Ben Popp, the Executive Director of the American Birkebeiner Ski Foundation. Ben?
All right, good morning. Thanks for having me. One of the exciting things about outdoor recreation in rural Wisconsin is there's a ton of opportunities, but it certainly poses some challenges as well. To give a little history of the American Birkebeiner, because a lot of people in the state may not know, but interestingly, back in 1973, this man, Tony Wise, started this race with 35 people because it was his idea that people would recreate in the Northwoods of Wisconsin. They would come to northern Wisconsin, support the businesses. So early on, the importance of having outdoor recreation in northern Wisconsin was there. Fast forward to 1984 as the American Birkebeiner Ski Foundation was formed, and it was really to not only create amazing events, but also a lifestyle and stewards of this Birkebeiner trail. But what makes it happen in rural Wisconsin? Recreation sometimes can be a challenge, and it's all about partnerships. Realizing that there's these vast lands put together by municipalities, the National Park Service, and county forests, but oftentimes the municipalities not having the resources and time to be able to foster these outdoor recreation opportunities. So that's where the partnership comes in with nonprofits, friends groups, to allow these outdoor recreation opportunities, but there's still oftentimes something missing, and it's money. And interestingly enough, sometimes in rural Wisconsin, it's a little bit challenging in that we don't have some of the larger corporations that are off see value in having these outdoor recreation opportunities that can often fund them. They know it attracts employees. So it kicks that back to the friends groups, the foundations, to raise that money to bring these opportunities to the communities. And I'd like to just put a little asterisk there to say that I think it's also important when people recreate around our region, they don't oftentimes care what state they're in, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, but we have some of the finest recreation opportunities here in Wisconsin, but our neighbors are starting to invest large amounts of dollars into these recreation opportunities. So here in Wisconsin, it'll be important at the state and community level, we continue to invest in these opportunities. And then it takes a community. It's often a team of volunteers that are out helping with events, that are the stewards, those that are providing the opportunities for these outdoor recreation opportunities. Then here's what the result is. Things like the Fat Bike Birkie, the largest fat bike race in the world, the third largest ski race in the world, bringing people from all around the world to northern Wisconsin. But not only that, not only are these event opportunities, it's just some amazing opportunities for people to recreate in northern Wisconsin. It could be community members or it could be people coming to our region. But then maybe one of the big benefits to our communities is the opportunities for kids. You build these outdoor opportunities and oftentimes they get experiences that they may never even dream of. Imagining putting riflery with skiing, biathlon, opportunities that in northern Wisconsin were never dreamt of before. Now we get new kids out on skis because they enjoy some of these possibilities. But the real benefit is oftentimes the economic impact. This study was actually done back in 2014, and I will tell you during that period of time, the Birkebeiner's operating foundation has tripled in size. So I believe this report, while still amazing, is actually underrepresentative of what is really happening. But it really drives our economy forward here in rural America. Look at that, $14.7 million of private sector stimulus, supporting over 200 jobs. Realize in the town of Cable, where we're based, there's only 800 residents. So really, it creates some amazing jobs. The other thing, along this line, it creates assets that we can utilize to go out around our region and really support what outdoor recreation in Wisconsin looks like. This is the American Birkebeiner Bridge at the center of the 2018 Super Bowl in downtown Minneapolis. Millions of views, people asking, where is Hayward, Wisconsin? What is the Birkebeiner? Again, utilizing these mediums to provide opportunities for the outdoor recreation in the state. But how do we sustain this? How do we continue to grow this? I think there's two really important parts. One is infrastructure. We have to continue to invest in infrastructure. Things like the Samuel C. Johnson Outdoor Center. The first year it was built, over 100,000 visitors came through it in little northern Wisconsin. It was sort of their gateway, their inspiration to come check out what this is all about. And it's also events. Events introduce people to our areas, and then it's our community's job to embrace them, inspire them, and we continue to bring them back. And what often happens is people get introduced to our areas through outdoor recreation, the economic impact even grows because suddenly they find it as a place they want to return to. They build second homes, and oftentimes these trails, the snowmobile trails, the ski trails, the mountain bike trails become like lakefront to them. Suddenly they're building second homes and they're revisiting back to this area over and over. Sustainability is also really important. The users know that it's really important that this resource be here for a long time. They value us being sustainable and they'll support that. And we know that we now have a proven method that works. If we continue to invest in infrastructure, we continue to be sustainable, we can take on bigger projects. The American Birkebeiner, as previously mentioned, is taking on creating the Mount Telemark Outdoor Sports Complex, bringing us back to our roots, creating these outdoor experiences that will inspire, enable people, and really drive job growth in our rural northern Wisconsin community. At the end of the day, what really happens is you create this multi-generational, diverse base that really supports our operations. They ensure our stability. And at the end of the day, this outdoor recreation really creates an identity for our rural communities. It's really an amazing thing. So that's the story of outdoor recreation in rural Wisconsin, and thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you so much, Ben. We appreciate your participation. Thank you for joining us today. The office is a resource to help you connect, and we appreciate your participation in seeking out this information. Thank you so much.